Welcome to the first edition of the how-to on this channel. Today I want to talk about making your own weights. One of the biggest barriers to entry in the Highland games is having the correct implements to throw with. These are not something that you necessarily find at commercial gyms, or even a lot of specialized strength gyms won't have the Highland game implements. So if you don't have access to these, if you don't know somebody, how can you still practice? I have here with me a 56 and a 28. These are the weights that the men will throw. These are what I practice with. If I were to buy these new today, I would spend about $300 to $350 for the set, depending on if you bought them as a set, if you bought them separately, and where you got them. And I'll link below to a couple places that do make them and you can buy them from if you're interested in that. But if you're new to the sport, if you're just trying it out and you don't want to spend the $300 to start practicing, I want to go through a couple options that you have. When I started out, first thing I did is I went to Play It Again Sports. You can go to any secondhand sports store. Sometimes you can even find them at thrift shops, but we want these 1 inch plates, not the Olympic ones with the larger holes, but the 1 inch plates. I got 510s and 5.5s. And when I first started, I honestly just grabbed an eyebolt. Had an eyebolt, put some real heavy duty thick washers at the bottom, threaded it through the weights, put that bolt back on. I attached an old Olympic hammer handle with a quick link up to the top, and I had a makeshift weight. Was it great? No. Did it work? Absolutely. I was able to get a bunch of reps in. I was able to get some training in. I spent about $35 to start out, actually trying to throw, and that worked well for a couple of months, right? So that is an option if you're on the super cheap. If you want to go a little bit more robust, something that will look a bit more like the weights that you throw in competition, there's another option. And first thing you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to get a section of, this is galvanized pipe, 6 inches, 3/4 inch. You'll need the nipple, the end nipple for it. And what you're gonna do there is first we're going to drill a hole. I put it right through the threads here. I pre-drilled it. 1/4 inch, because I put a 1/4 inch bolt there. You're gonna thread that nipple on to the bottom. Make sure that's tight. If you want to add some Loctite or something to the bottom, that's great. That's going to be what stops the plates from flying off the bottom. And you're just going to thread the weights through. Once you have your plates threaded through, what I did is I walked around Home Depot, found this link of chain. I don't know what size chain or anything it is, but I just found the chain that fit inside that galvanized pipe. 1/4 inch bolt goes right through the pipe and the chain, and from there you have a usable weight. You could do this with one of those Olympic hammer handles, but those are very, very flimsy. They're going to break down in a couple of weeks, and you don't want that. I got this ring handle from Daniel Goulet. I don't think he's making them anymore, but there are Highland game suppliers out there you can buy them from. They're about 20 bucks. And they're gonna last you years. This one here is about 7 years old, and it resembles what you're gonna throw in competition. All right? At least on the East Coast. I know other places D handles are a lot more popular, but out here in the East Coast we throw ring handles mostly. Use some shackles to go from the ring to the chain. And here's your heavyweight. All right. This actually feels pretty similar to an actual heavyweight when you're throwing it. I mean, there's a couple differences, but it works rather well. A few problems that I ran into, and this is partially just my expectation, is I was thinking that I could take this bolt out, slide the 10s off, and put some 5s on, and then you could go back and forth between a heavyweight and a lightweight. And that really didn't work. When this hits the ground, those plates, kind of shear against each other, and it really will mess up that galvanized pipe, bend it all up, makes it really hard to get on and off. Sometimes when these break eventually, which these will last a whole season of throwing, you have to hammer off those plates so it doesn't really go back and forth. So what I did is I just ended up buying a second set, and I had a lightweight and a heavyweight. Couple other downsides: if you're throwing in a lot of really muddy weather, there's going to be a whole bunch of grass, mud that just gets shoved in between these plates. Makes it kind of weird to throw. Also, if you're throwing in your own yard, it really tears up that yard because you're just pulling chunks of ground out. I mean, this will still leave divots, but at least you're leaving, you know, you're not just taking chunks of mud out elsewhere. I've not had any problems with the nipple coming off. Sometimes you have to retighten it, but that's not an issue. So I've never been mid-throw and had all the plates come off that way. I'm not saying that that won't happen or can't happen, but I have not experienced it. The places that generally these will break is up at the top. Here you can kind of see, I'll show you a close up. The bolt actually just ripped out the top of the galvanized pipe. So just something to be aware of, just a lot of wear and tear. I threw these for years before I finally bought the actual implements. And they work great. They work just fine. If you're looking to just get some reps in, this whole setup here is gonna cost you $50, $60, and that's including buying the ring. And when it does break, usually it's the galvanized pipe, so you can just replace that. And it'll take you a long time of buying galvanized pipe to get to that $300. That is an easy way that you guys can get into throwing weights. It's an easy way that you can build your own. If you throw this on a scale with the 5 plates, the galvanized pipe and everything, it actually gets pretty close to 56 pounds. I think last time I weighed this setup, it was like 54. So if you really wanted to throw a 2.5 on there, you could, but you know, that's up to you how precise you want to be with that weight. And like I said, I will link below to the places where you can buy your own weights if you are interested in that. But if you are just starting out or trying it out and don't have access, this is going to be a little bit cheaper of an option for you, especially if you have some of these plates already laying around. All right, thanks.